Hi, this is Elke, and welcome back to my channel. As you may know, they had a second incident where a homeless person was threatening passengers on a train. It sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yes, we had a first incident where a ex-Marine had to restrain a homeless person with two other passengers. Only the person passed away, and you had a media circus, and the mayor of the city of New York didn't help the situation, all because the homeless person shares the same name as my son. Crap. All you were race baiting, caused massive problems for the city of New York. These people came and started protesting and shutting the city down and the subway, all trying to get a murder charge against this ex-Marine. And you may have remembered that the homeless person who used to be a Michael Jackson impersonator, he got this nice send-off, a limousine, a nice funeral, a nice casket, and all that stuff. Well, the guy in Brooklyn who died in similar circumstances, is he going to get any of that? No. Most likely he's going to be sent to Potter's Field, unless his family claims him. So, the similarities do end because, unlike the ex-Marine and the first homeless person that was killed, this incident happened when a J train already left Manhattan when this homeless person started acting up. And this time, he didn't just make threats. He did attack people. This is probably why the incident and the first incident in Manhattan happened, because they were trying to prevent him from doing a violent act against people. Unfortunately, this time, the person not only made threats, he actually made good on those threats. He attacked passengers, and he attacked a female, and the individual had to end up getting a knife and stabbing this person to death on the subway. Because it happened in Brooklyn, guess what? Alan Braggs could not put his paws on him. So that was a good sign to begin with. Unfortunately, because the individual is African American, yes, he was arrested faster than the ex-Marine, who was white, which is another reason why he had this media circus. So what happened? They were all shocked that, yes, he was arrested. Yes, he was brought to court on charges of manslaughter, and they tried to give him the same bail as the first case, but apparently the judge seemed to like the individual that was there, believed that the individual is not a flight risk, and instead of giving him a large bail amount, the judge let him go with no bail whatsoever. This is the idea of no cash bail. It's supposed to work for the people who are not criminals. Usually, no cash bail, all the criminals go out free without paying a dime. This person was involved in a self-defense incident on the J train. As a result, it could have ended badly for him, but because of the shenanigans from the first incident, almost derailed his situation. Luckily, the train was in Brooklyn and not Manhattan. And it doesn't change the fact that a person is still dead because of his own doing. And the thing is, I've been complaining for years when I was working at New York City Transit, they got to do something about the homeless and the fare beating, but it's all gone to deaf ears. Of course, now they're going to say, oh, yeah, he didn't say any. Oh, yeah, right. That's because you don't have me on video. Like you have me on video now. But yes, you is. Oh, but you complain about my sick time, and I have a pattern. Oh, excuse me, I didn't know I was Martha Stewart all of a sudden. But you see a pattern with the fare beating, and what are you doing about it? The DA stopped going after the fare beaters. You should have sued the DAs and forced them to enforce the law, but you didn't do that either. So now finally you had to change your turnstiles. Hopefully it will cut down on the fare beating. But the thing is, the Manhattan DA, before Alan Braggs, was supposed to help in this situation, and he did jack shit. The Cypress Jr. guy didn't do jack shit. He's the first one who stopped going after fare beaters. Knucklehead. So, of course, Alan Braggs decided to do the same thing. So, if you think I was being hard on Alan Braggs because he's Alan Braggs, because he's black, no. Because his predecessor, who is not black, who is white, I got his ass too, because he should have not stopped the fare beating enforcement. New York City Transit is losing $700 million a year on fare beating. In fact, found out recently they were losing an additional $90 million with the Long Island Railroad, Metro North, and the tolls, because they find ways to avoid paying fares over there too, and the tolls. You know, you can put a leaf on one of your license plate numbers and they will not register. So, by the way, they know about that, so don't think I'm giving you free advice how to avoid paying the tolls, because they'll be looking for that. Sorry. And they know about the clear plastic you put on the license plate so you can read the numbers. They know about that too. They're not stupid. They are looking for that. So, I'm not giving you free advice how to avoid paying tolls. If you want to avoid paying tolls, then don't drive on their bridges and tunnels. Go ride a scooter or something. But that's not the point. The point is, you're allowing people to jump the fares, commit more crimes on the subway, because that's been a known fact that that's what they do. And I do not care whose feelings get hurt when I'm saying this. I do not care to yell, scream racism, because it is costing $700 million. That's money that could have been used to improve the service, extend more extensions to service, and avoided maybe this cost overruns like on the Second Avenue subway. The Second Avenue subway could have been built already 4 or 5 times already for that money. Instead, you get a nice little slice of Second Avenue, and you get an extension of the 7th. And that's about it. Well, we know the MTA is also known to be corrupt, because they do what the hell they want. And then their Grand Central Madison is not bringing in the numbers that they thought they were going to bring. Well, maybe it's not just COVID, because it goes to be, you don't know how to plan for these things correctly. But getting back to the story, the circus media that you had out there in the first case, unfortunately fell flat on the second incident, because being the man who stabbed this homeless person to protect himself, his girlfriend, and everybody else is African American, being it happened in Brooklyn, and being that the judge believed the individual that's been accused now of murder of this, manslaughter of this dumbbell, let him out with no cash bail. The circus media fell flat. Even the media was shocked that he was released with no cash bail. Well, sorry, but you think every day's a holiday, right? Oh, this should be a warning to anybody trying to protect themselves on the subway. No, it should be no warning to anybody trying to protect themselves. It should be a warning to the homeless and the criminals on the subway system not to continue threatening passengers any which way they can, because sooner or later, somebody is going to break your neck or stab you or shoot you or something to protect others and themselves against your stupidity. And I'm not advocating violence against these people, but these people got to learn that they cannot go on the subway system threatening people, being they're in a subway car they can't barely get out of, even if it's not an R46 or 68 or 68A, with the doors closed, they cannot walk in between cars. Because the first thing that might happen is, instead of going after the guy who's making the threats, they're going to go after the person who's going between cars to get away from this person to give him a summons. And by the way, that happened to my son. So, yeah, years ago, a homeless person was causing problems on a train. He did not want him to be with that person. And he tried to go between cars to another car, and he gets a ticket. I had to pay for it. This is another reason why I do not want to work for my ex-employer ever again. They could go kiss my ass. And anybody else who did that garbage with the first incident, y'all could go kiss my ass too. Because you created a situation that passengers cannot protect themselves on the subway, and the homeless and the criminals think that, and then all of a sudden, lo and behold, now you have another dead homeless person on the train. Passengers have a right to protect themselves from individuals that are threatening their safety, their family members, their friends, or anybody with them on the train. What the city of New York needs to do is to put more enforcement, more police, more fair beating enforcers, and everything else necessary to combat this nonsense. There is no reason why you need to have people going around causing a muck on the subway system. You're complaining about the ridership numbers, but if you don't do anything to stop this, the numbers are going to go back down again. And you know the city needs people to come back to the offices. They need the economy to get going, but you cannot have an economy going if your subway system is being held hostage by the soy-drinking numbnuts and the criminals and the fare beaters and the mentally ill and anybody else who wants to do bodily harm to you because they're not happy with you for whatever reason, or you're not the flavor of the month, or whatever nonsense that come out of these people's heads. So this is Alcan saying so on for now, and don't forget to stop. And as a reminder, please remember, even though this is happening, you always have to keep alert and be vigilant and be careful. And if there's a situation, try to get out of it as quickly as you can. Only use self-defense as a last resort. If they do come after you, you have a right to defend yourself. Do what is necessary to protect yourself and others. Don't let the criminals, the homeless, the mentally ill, the fare beaters, and all the other garbage people, race-baiting dingbats, and the soy-drinking numbnuts threaten your existence. You're only paying $2.75 to get from point A to point B without being deprived of your property or deprived of your life. Thank you.